Hey, what's up?
Hey, looks like the podcast went pretty well. Got like 30 listeners on it. You want to do the same time next Sunday
Uh, Same time for.
for the podcast?
Wait, are we doing that every week?
Yeah, that's the plan. What did you think?
I thought I was a guest.
No.
So you want me there every Sunday?
Yeah, we're co-hosts.
What?
Yeah.
You never told me that.
When did I not tell you that?
How can I define a time that you didn't tell me?
Hello and welcome back to the second episode of the Mike at the Helm podcast. I'm your host, Mike Spencer.
And I'm your host, Arza Helm.
Arza, how you doing today?
You know, I'm doing just grand. How are you doing?
Not too bad. I noticed you wearing a Arizona beanie
Yes,
and a
sir.
Hawaii shirt.
Yes, sir.
So that way nobody can tell what state you're from.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, is
I
it
like to stay
Arizona?
ambiguous
Exactly.
with my clothing.
Arizona, Hawaii. I don't know what kind of pants you're wearing because you're not wearing any right now. But I don't know what kind of state pants you wear.
Typically, I kind of try to go East Coast with my pants.
East Coast? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like they have really good sweats and whatnot.
East Coast is California, right? Like or is
No,
it New
that's
York?
West.
New York? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
It's all right. Learn your compass a little bit.
Yeah, I should have had the compass out. I usually have it when we're recording, but I decided to put it away
I
this
guess you
time.
forgot this time.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I actually have a question I've been wanting to ask you. Mm-hmm. So, for those of you who don't know Mike, he's very particular about his water.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. Right before we started recording, I went to fill up water from his sink, and he told me no, and he pointed to his water filter. So, why? Tell me about this, like, water fascination.
Well, I get my water delivered.
Okay.
And it's just quality water. Like, I'm a total water snob. I get that. So I guess you could say I'm particular about water. But, you know, I mean, it just tastes better. I mean, you can't tell me you can't tell the difference between
It is nice.
It's nice water. Right?
But if I had you blindfolded,
Oh, yeah,
and I
I
were
could
to
tell the
like,
difference.
really?
Yeah.
Or would you be like upset if Janae got you?
Yeah, I would. I would totally notice it too. Yeah. Like, I know what McDonald's water tastes like.
Are you serious? Oh, actually,
tastes like.
McDonald's, I feel like their water has a very distinct taste.
Yeah, well, it's because they actually filter their water a lot more than any other fast food place or even food
Really?
places in general. And that's why people, you know, the McDonald's Sprite meme where that hits different, or McDonald's Coke and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, McDonald's filters all their water a lot more than like your average fast food place or company.
Dang, is it even like sit-down restaurants? Or is it mainly just fast food that they filter more than?
Oh, I just know McDonald's does, and that's the same reason like their drinks are $1 is because people will drive past and be like, oh, maybe I should get a Coke, and you know they're not trying to sell you the Coke, but they're trying to sell you the fries on the side.
Yeah,
Because like, oh, you know, something salty sounds good with something sweet, and that's how they get you. And then you end up getting a full meal when you originally wanted the $1 Coke.
Yeah, and then you'll get heart disease.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all in one package.
Places like Taco Bell and KFC, they actually get different kinds of Pepsi than like gas stations or other
Really?
restaurants. Yeah. So Taco Bell has an extra sweet Pepsi, and I think it's because Pepsi has stock in Taco Bell, or maybe they own Taco Bell. I can't exactly remember.
Dang. Okay.
But yeah, their Pepsi tastes better at Taco Bell than anywhere else, and I think they get different flavors of Mountain Dew at Taco Bell and KFC and those kinds of places.
It seems like Pepsi would, like if they owned Taco Bell and that's why they give them better Pepsi, why wouldn't they just sell that better Pepsi in general?
I think that Pepsi's just more expensive. And so
to
they're
like
trying to
produce or
upsell
something?
Taco Bell, because I will go to Taco Bell specifically for the Pepsi.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like Pepsi more than Coke then?
Okay, so Diet Pepsi is better than Diet Coke, 100%. Don't at me. But Coke is better than Pepsi, and only a little bit. In short, Taco Bell, Pepsi, better than McDonald's Coke.
Okay, that's a bold statement. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't agree with that. I mean, I don't really drink soda much, but I feel like people typically lean Coke over Pepsi.
You know, actually, they did a... this was back in the 80s, I think, but they did... Pepsi did a taste test, a random taste test with Coke and Pepsi. And they would have Pepsi be the letter M on the cup, and then Coke be the letter Q on the cup, and people tried them, and the majority, like 80% of people said M. And so they're like, oh, there you go, Pepsi's better than Coke. But then Coke did the exact same thing, but they made Coke M and Pepsi Q, and the majority of people liked Coke better. So I guess it
Interesting.
just looks like people like the letter M better than the letter Q, and that's really all they got from
And
that.
that's a positive because your name is Mike.
Yeah, and your name's Quarza.
Yeah. No wonder people like you more.
Yeah, you know. And that's why I get to talk first every podcast.
Yeah.
So I get to introduce. I think I talked last in the last podcast, so.
Yeah, first and last. All because of letter M.
Letter M.
Nuts.
Yeah, Mike and Quarza.
I honestly wonder if that makes a difference. Like, if people are more prone to, like, the letter M, if that makes a difference with people's names. Like, if you start with the letter M, if you're more likely to have a positive first impression or something like that.
I was actually reading that your name will change, like, your personality based on what it is. And I feel like it has with mine, at least me hating my own name, like how I talked about in the previous
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
But, yeah, I guess, like, you know how, like, you're like, oh, you don't look like a Mike, or you look like a Jackson. You know those people?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think that's where they're getting it from. And maybe it's just because, like, people you know are named Mike. That's another thing. Like, to go back on the names thing, we're going to talk about my name every podcast.
Yeah. Be prepared.
Exactly.
Well, so I think that makes sense. I
I
mean,
had a story that I was going to say, but I can't remember
Yeah,
what it was.
and I thought
So
you were
we're
gonna
going to have
keep
to cut
talking.
that in. God damn it.
but that makes sense because if you think about it, there's like the stereotype of the name Chad and stereotype of the name Karen.
Kyle. And then Tyler's
Yeah.
like Diet Kyle.
I've never heard
You haven't heard that? No.
That's funny.
Tyler's a crazy guy, just not as crazy. He's not the one falling off the shopping cart into the pool. Kyle
Yeah, yeah.
is. Tyler's the one filming it though and like hyping Kyle up.
Oh,
I feel like
okay,
That's like
yeah.
the Kyle and
Yeah,
Tyler
yeah.
dynamic.
Yeah, and I knew some crazy Tylers too. I mean, funny as hell, but
Oh yeah. No, I think probably some of the crazy people I know are named Tyler. Like I knew a guy named Tyler, and he would go to Vegas all the time and just get drunk and just get into fights. Like that was his plan. Like he'd be like, I'm gonna go to Vegas, get drunk, and start a fight. And he'd usually get his ass kicked. So
just he liked the thrill of it.
I guess so.
He's a thrill seeker through fights, or he's a masochist.
Either way,
Yeah, one of the
I don't
two.
know. He lives in Hawaii right now, just like your shirt.
Oh, dang. Maybe he sold the shirt to me. Well, I don't know if you know this, but LeBron James just announced that he was going to be switching his sponsorship from Coke to Pepsi.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So,
Pepsi
Pepsi's-
probably just offered him more money.
No, he loves it more.
Does he really?
No,
Oh.
he probably got more money.
Probably more money. I mean, he could hate Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah.
He
but if
probably
they're-
doesn't drink soda, being a basketball
Yeah,
player,
honestly.
so
And whoever's going to pay him a couple million more, why not go with them?
I'm surprised they even wear Nikes because it's not like those are the nicest shoes you can wear.
Yeah.
Like they're probably $5 to make. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny to think about. Even like Adidas and stuff like that. Like,
I think Adidas has a lot better quality than Nike does.
you think so?
I think so. Like all my socks are Adidas and a lot of my shoes are, and I feel like I definitely notice a quality difference between Adidas and Nike.
Dang, I actually thought Adidas was supposed to be considered like lower quality.
At least not for me.
Maybe not.
They seem pretty durable.
I don't know a ton about shoes, to be honest.
So I usually only have like one or two pairs of shoes that I wear, and I've only worn one pair of Adidas the last like year and a half, and they're still going pretty strong. So I guess we're probably gonna lose a sponsorship with Nike if they ever listen to this.
Yeah, they probably won't be too happy about us.
But Adidas, reach out.
Yeah, or Puma. Let us know. Any shoe company. Not Nike, I guess, anymore. But, oh, shit, so I just tried to smell this coffee, and I actually can't smell still, and I forget about that.
Oh, because you got COVID, right?
Yeah. And it's weird because one nostril I can kind of smell out of, but the other one I can't smell out of at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you breathe out of both nostrils?
Yeah, no issue breathing.
Did you know that the majority of people can't breathe out of both nostrils at the same time?
I believe that.
Like usually one's closed and the other one's open.
Is that some sort of evolutionary thing? Or
Maybe it gives each nostril a break, but I guess it all still goes into the same
yeah,
system, right? I'm
Yeah.
assuming these two little tubes connect somewhere.
yeah.
So
It seems like there'd be some biological reason why that would happen.
I mean, there's a lot of dumb stuff we have in our body that's for no reason.
That's true. Do you know anyone that's gotten COVID?
I know you.
Am I the only one that you know?
I think so. I had like a coworker get COVID. So I guess I know him. Like I feel like most of the people I've talked to like don't know anybody that's gotten COVID, and I think it's still at like the 1 to 3% or something. Not a ton of people.
Dang, that's crazy because I actually know a ton of people have gotten it now.
Because you gave it to all of them.
That probably, yeah.
That's like the new STD. Like you got to call up your ex-girlfriend. Like, hey, I have something. I just went to the doctor. I just want to let you know.
It kind of is like after we tested positive, we're like, okay, who's everyone that we came in contact with in the last 14 days?
Right.
We had to like text everyone and let them know. But yeah, it was crazy. It took a while to get over it.
Can you really only smell out of one nostril? I can't imagine that's true.
No, I like...
Once again, because, it goes to the same tube. I was just thinking about that.
So I hugged my girlfriend, okay?
Nikki.
Yeah. And I could smell her perfume for the first time in, like, a month. And so then I plugged one nostril, and I smelled, and I could smell it. And then I plugged the other one, and I smelled, and I couldn't smell it. It was weird. I don't know if the smell receptacles are in your nostrils or whatever.
Maybe. Because, like, your tongue has taste buds. You have smell buds?
I don't know.
And maybe those regenerate over time?
Yeah.
Because I know, like, even if you burn your mouth and you, like, burn all your taste buds off or, like, something happens to them, they'll still, like, come back after 2 weeks. So.
Dang, that's crazy to think that your cells regenerate that fast.
I think your mouth regenerates a lot faster than, like, other parts of your body.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you get cuts in your mouth, I noticed that they'll go quicker, and I think it's because, I don't know, evolution, like, you might choke on your blood, I don't know.
Or eating is just so essential.
Eating is really essential, yeah. I eat almost every day.
But, yeah, even, like, your skin cells, isn't it, like, every couple days or weeks, like, your entire top layer of skin is gone?
I do know, after 5 years, every cell in your body is a new cell. So, like, after 5 years, all your cells will die, and you'll get a whole new set of cells. So you're like a completely different person.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I wonder which ones take the longest. Like the brain, you think?
Or bones.
Bones. I could see that.
Maybe the brain. I don't know. I don't know enough about bodies. Let's get a biology expert on here.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If you know anybody that's a biology expert, we'd love to have them on.
Yeah.
Science teacher.
Math teacher.
That's not biology.
That's true.
What would be a subject you'd teach if you had to go back to high school and teach?
Ooh. You know, for a while in high school, I actually thought about maybe going back to be like a math teacher.
A math teacher?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the least wanted teaching.
I enjoy math a lot. And I would always have fun kind of helping friends out with it. I would like tutor some friends before school and stuff like that, and I enjoyed it.
So you're in college right now, so you don't mind like your math classes?
I haven't taken any since I've been to college. Yeah, I finished all my stuff in high school for it.
Oh, you did like AP and stuff? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I've been done for a while. I miss it though. I've actually thought of like trying to incorporate like a math minor or something like that because I really enjoy it. Either that or I'd either want to teach that or history. I really like history too.
Yeah, history would be fun to teach. I do hear that history is like one of the most competitive fields for teaching.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's because it's one of the most fun. I think history and like social sciences and things like that, and even science in general, I think those are pretty competitive compared to like math, English, things like that. And I feel like that almost reflects on the teachers I had in middle school and high school, because I feel like the coolest teachers I had were those fun marketing, history subjects, and the worst teachers I had were like English and math and stuff like that.
Definitely.
So,
I like our high school had a atrocious math department.
Our high school was known for having terrible math. Maybe it's changed now, but
I hope it has for the sake of our public education.
Students everywhere.
Yeah. Dang. So what would you want to teach?
I'd probably either teach psychology, philosophy, or history. I think those would all be really fun to teach. And I think those you can definitely... like you don't have to just go by textbook, and even if you really are needing to stick with it for like AP tests and things like that, like you can always be like, by the way, this happened, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff that happens in history that these teachers don't talk about because it's not on the textbook. But I was always more interested in subjects when there was cool, unique things you'd get to know.
Yeah, definitely.
So
if I remember right, you're wanting to kind of do some school for computer programming.
Yeah.
So why would you want to do those opposed to these other subjects that you're passionate about?
To be honest with you, I don't know if I really necessarily have a passion for programming. I think I'd be decent at it. I just think that's like the path of least resistance right now, because I wouldn't have to get a degree in programming to program necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
But I have thought about teaching for a long time, and I think that'd be fun. I think dream job would probably be like a college professor type status, but that's a ton of school.
Yeah.
And it's really competitive. Like, I guess most professors these days at any university are adjunct professors. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll teach part-time. They'll get paid like, $30,000 a year. And these professors that have tenure, usually if you're in the professor stage, you are already basically at tenure.
Yeah.
And, they'll get paid much more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
are you saying that you would want to be a professor for like computer science type of deal?
No, I would still want to teach like philosophy, psychology, history, things like that. The subjects that really interest me.
Okay.
I like humans. I'm a big human guy.
Yeah.
I like studying humans.
Would you consider yourself a humanist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A people watcher. So humanisty.
Oh, okay. So with that, like, what do you think fascinates you about humans? Is it like something?
I don't know. I just think humans are weird. I think we're definitely the weirdest species on the planet. But, I'm a human. You're a human. Most people I know are humans.
Yeah.
Or at least identify as humans. I know there's some people that identify as wolves. All levels but physical, I'm a wolf. But
Animal kin.
yeah. But I like how they're social. I like how our cities almost act like beehives and how, I just think they're interesting.
Yeah. It's weird to think about, like, if you take a couple steps back and you just like watch humans, I don't know, like eat food or walk down the street, and it's like, wow, we're literally just like animals.
Kind of.
Like, I don't know, like some of the stuff you see humans do, if you saw like a dog doing it or something, would be like, oh, that stupid dog, he's so funny and cute.
Chasing his own tail.
Yeah. But then humans do the same stuff. We like, some people stare at a wall for an hour or like will entertain themselves with the smallest little toy.
Right.
And I think it's so interesting when you like look at humans as animals.
Here's a fun date idea. I used to do this sometimes. Go to a park or just somewhere that's highly populated, maybe a mall. Sit down with your date, people watch, and write haikus about these people.
Oh, dang, okay.
I think those are fun. I've done that a couple times, and that's always been a blast.
Are you big into poetry?
No, just haikus.
Just haikus?
Yeah, and people watching.
Okay.
Haikus about people.
Have you practiced that a lot? Have you done a lot of those dates?
No. I've done them a couple times. I feel like, like every weekend we go out and do this. I don't know if it's that kind of date, but it's like an every once in a while. I think it's a fun thing to try out.
Yeah, when was the last time you did that?
It's probably been like a year and a half.
Well, do you have like a favorite haiku? Do you have it memorized? Can you spit for us right now?
No. I might have something written down on my phone, but that would take too long, so.
Dang. Yeah, I remember writing a haiku in second grade. I think that's the last time I wrote a haiku. You know who actually was a big poet, like slam poetry?
Jack Frost?
No, Watsky, George Watsky, the rapper.
Yeah, I love George Watsky. So.
Yeah, we went to his concert a couple years ago. For those of you who don't know George Watsky, he is basically his music is like slam poetry that has music to it. And it's very poetic.
I feel like that's a lot of rap artists, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, rap stands for, I don't know if you knew this, it stands for rhythm and poetry.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's where the word rap came from.
I didn't know that. But yeah, I think my favorite lyrics have always been like rap lyrics. I think they're a lot more clever than your typical pop and rock these days.
Yeah, and there's a lot of layers to it as well. Like if anyone listening or you, Mike, really enjoy hip hop music, there is actually another podcast. I'm plugging another podcast in our podcast called Dissect. And basically the guy, he goes through different like pop albums or a lot of rap albums. Like he does some Kanye and Kendrick Lamar. And he goes through each song on the album. There's an episode for each song. And he goes in depth behind the meaning behind every line. And it's really cool.
Have you seen This Is America by Childish Gambino?
Mm-hmm.
I love that one. Like, I feel like probably in 30 years from now, like, that's going to be something they're going to teach in, like, high schools or college campuses. Like, you know, show me the symbolism of what this is. Watch this video a couple times. Let me know what you think about this. Because there's so much that goes on in there.
Yeah. I remember when that first came out, people would watch it like 20 times.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much in that music video.
I even remember seeing like reaction videos of just the gunshot. Because I remember it threw me off out of nowhere. Because I was a big Childish Gambino fan before that. So the second that dropped, I was like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, he is like the most talented man.
Oh yeah, he is a polymath for sure.
Yeah, like he can act, he can rap, he can do whatever the hell he wants.
He writes. He wrote for SNL. And
are you serious?
Yeah.
Damn, did he help write for Community at all then?
I'm sure he did.
Or dang, that's crazy. Like I see people like that, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing with my life?
Right. He wrote Atlanta too. You've seen that?
Atlanta.
You don't know what Atlanta is? Oh, it's a show he like stars in, and it's about these rappers in Atlanta, and he's like a manager of one of them.
Is he from Atlanta?
I don't know.
Okay, so he wrote this. Is it a TV show or is it like on Netflix? What is it?
I think it's a TV show. I think it's on Hulu or HBO. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's crazy that all of those networks, all the TV networks, are making their own little streaming services now.
Oh yeah, no, it's getting too much at this point.
Yeah, like I know everyone's upset because The Office got taken off of Netflix. You know, I don't know if you knew that.
It went to like the NBC News.
Yeah, it went to Peacock
Netflix thing. Yeah,
and
that's what they're calling it.
I think so. Yeah, because like the little NBC logo looks like peacock feathers or something.
I got you.
But it's just funny because it's just going back to what cable television was, where everyone has their own thing.
Yeah, I think if you subscribe to everything, it would be easily as much as cable would be, right?
Yeah,
like $200 a month.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully there's another solution where it stitches all of those services together for $10,
or you just take your parents or your friends,
or you hit up Pirate Bay. But I didn't say that.
That's even more illegal. So.
Is your option illegal?
It's probably frowned upon.
Well, I don't. If that's illegal, that makes me really sad.
I think technically you have to be in the same house.
Really?
So, like, my girlfriend and I live together, and we can share Netflix on our own, but we still use our parents.
Oh, is it like, it's probably like in the terms of service or something like that?
Yeah.
Then?
But I'm sure they don't care. I mean, Netflix is making tons of money every year.
Yeah, Netflix, if you're listening to this, we live in the same household as our parents, and we are using theirs.
Exactly.
So, don't worry about that, Netflix.
You're using your landlords, aren't you? Or you're using your parents?
It goes in between. Like, in the apartment we live in, the landlord has it on his TV, and so we use that one. But then, like on my personal computer, I use my parents' and my phone.
Because, yeah, in the same house, I mean, I share the same Wi-Fi with my landlord, and that's, you know, that's obviously fine. That's not frowned upon at all. Not everybody needs their own Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So, out of all the streaming channels, which one do you think has, like, the best originals? Like, if you could only subscribe to one, Netflix, Hulu, HBO, whatever, if you could only subscribe to one, which one would you choose?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, Netflix, we've talked about it before. They have Queen's Gambit.
Oh yeah, Queen's Gambit. That is a fantastic show.
Yeah, if anyone has not seen that, just spend a day and binge watch it.
What I love about that show and shows like that is it's a standalone thing. Like, there's not going to be a season 2, so you can finish it all. It's like a big movie that you finish in one day. I love that so much more than watching TV and like waiting till the next year. And I usually forget about it. There's so many shows where it's like, I watched half those seasons, and there's 3 new ones out, but I like have to rewatch the whole thing now. Yeah. And that's probably what they want you to do.
Yeah, and they want more view time, right?
Yeah.
But Queen's Gambit, it's like you're saying, it's just all packaged together with a little bow on top. Oh yeah. You're just satisfied at the end.
It's fantastic, yeah. And it's got a great ending too.
Yeah, and you don't need to know anything about chess to enjoy it.
Actually makes chess interesting. I didn't know you could do that.
It's amazing. Amazon, I know they're coming out with like a Lord of the Rings series.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
They're making like last I heard they were making like a Lord of the Rings TV series.
That would be really cool. Is it set in the Lord of the Rings universe, or is it based off a character?
It's in Middle Earth. I can't remember exactly what it's supposed to be about.
I'm surprised they haven't done that before. I think shows like The Witcher or Game of Thrones have really made the RPG fantasy genre in TV a lot more popular than it was back in the day.
I haven't watched either of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know Merlin was a thing back in the day. There's been a couple of them, but I think Game of Thrones and like those kinds of shows really launched out what it is today.
Have you watched both of those?
No. I couldn't get into Game of Thrones. I'm not a big Game of Thrones guy. Yeah,
really?
I felt like I like the writing, and I like how in the first season, spoiler alert, in the first season, you think the main character is going to be this guy, and you really connect with them throughout the whole season, and then in the last episode of the season, they just cut off his head.
Oh,
and the entire time, you were literally thinking like, oh no, like this guy's not going to get his head cut off, because that's a TV show.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And there's even all these steps that they take toward you thinking that they're not going to kill off this character, even at its end. And it's right up until the point that they do cut off his head. We're like, oh, this is real. Like they just killed this guy who I thought was the main character, who was the character I connected with the most.
Wait, but isn't that kind of a sign of good writing if it like the unexpected happens?
No, I'm not saying that's why I didn't like it. I didn't like it necessarily. There was just too many characters, it seemed like. Like I know people that were like, I didn't fully understand Game of Thrones until I watched it for the 15th time. And it's like, I'm not going to rewatch it 15 times. And there's people that will watch it twice and understand it, but it's one of those shows that you really have to focus on. And that's almost what I liked about Queen's Gambit.
Gotta take notes.
Yeah, seriously. That's what I liked about Queen's Gambit, because I feel like you can almost like miss half the episode and still understand what's going on the next half. But Game of Thrones, it was like, wait, who's this guy? Like, why is this person in here? So you look down at your phone, respond to a text, like you got to rewind it seems like. And I hate those shows you really have to pay attention to.
Yeah. I feel like that's an issue a lot of people have with like Lord of the Rings too.
Really?
Or like the Silmarillion. Do you know what the Silmarillion is?
No.
It's like a book that has all of the lore of Middle Earth. And it's like kind of like the history of the planet.
That's got to be pretty big, right?
It's, I don't know, it's like 300 or 400 pages.
Okay.
But at the back, there's like so many names. There's a back index that, or an appendix or whatever, that explains all the names. And it's probably a fourth of the pages. Really? Of the book. Yeah, there's just so many names of places and people. And
do they explain who and where they are? Or?
Yeah, in the back it does.
Okay.
But it's still just so hard because you'll come across names while you're reading, and you're like, who the hell is this? And you have to flip all the way to the back and find the name.
Yeah, do you know if Tolkien wrote books based in Middle Earth other than The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings?
Well, there's the Silmarillion.
But yeah, that doesn't really count, right? Did he write that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. That doesn't really count, right? Because that's not like a fantasy book, or at least because that's more of a dictionary, not a dictionary, information book.
No, there's like, it's like almost like the Bible, how it's just like a chronicle of stories.
Oh, okay.
So a story is like anywhere from like a couple pages to like 50 pages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was more like just an information book.
No, okay. Sorry, I didn't explain it very well.
Yeah, no, you didn't. I'm never going to forgive you.
So, yeah, that's something hopefully I get better at.
When you were talking about people having a hard time following Lord of the Rings, I mean, I could get that if you're trying to watch like all three in one day.
Yeah.
But most people don't do that. Right?
Yeah,
like, have you talked to people that like just couldn't watch one movie on its own?
Yeah, I definitely know a lot of people where they don't like Lord of the Rings because they felt like they couldn't follow it.
What?
Yeah.
I feel like that's way easier than Game of Thrones is.
I would think so. I don't know. Like, I understand because there's just so much lore that's packed into, like, this 3-hour film.
Right. It's true. We grew up with, like, RPG-type games, too. Yeah. So I feel like we understand a lot of the lore anyways. But if you're coming into this, like, it's a whole new universe.
Yeah.
I could see that. Because, we play D&D, things like that are based off of, like, that kind of fantasy universe. Like, Tolkien really just blew that up.
Yeah, didn't he essentially kind of invent that genre of...
I don't know about inventing, right? I mean, medieval times with magic, I feel like that was invented before. I just think the world... I know orcs are trademarked. I don't know if you knew that.
I do not.
That's a Tolkien creation.
Really?
Orcs, yeah.
That's crazy.
Hobbits, obviously, too.
That's amazing because those are in, like, so many fantasy worlds now.
Yeah.
Like, they're like a staple.
Oh, yeah, they're huge. They're in almost everything I can think of.
Dang.
It's like almost as prevalent as elves.
Yeah. Dang. I mean, elves have been around since the beginning of time in folklore, right?
I think it started with Vikings.
Oh, Vikings came up with them.
I don't know for sure. Norse mythology, I think, came up with elves first, but I don't know.
Dang. Are you pretty well versed in different mythologies?
Just the God of War ones, and all the information that can be there.
Yeah, you really like the God of War games, right?
I like the newest one. The newest one is probably my favorite game, and the one before that was probably Skyrim. I'm a big RPG kind of guy.
Well, so with those video games, have you always played RPGs? Like, were those like the first games you grew up on?
Yeah, my dad, those were the only kinds of games he played. So we'd play like World of Warcraft together. We'd play all those kinds of games. He liked some like science fiction type games, but it was mostly like that fantasy RPG. So the Oblivion, the Fables, things like that.
What's the first game you remember?
Ever?
Yeah.
First game I remember? Probably Fable.
Fable?
Yeah.
Fable's a classic.
Fable is a classic. But the first game I ever beat was actually Fable 2.
Okay.
What about you? First game you remember and first game you beat?
The first game I remember playing is Duck Hunt on the original NES.
And that was like way past your time.
What?
Like that was way before your time.
Yeah, but it was like that was the console we had when I was really young.
That's crazy.
And then the first game that I really could comprehend playing was probably Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 3.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't played it, especially like in our generation.
Yeah.
Like the cusp of millennials and Gen Z. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we were just out of that because that came out in what, 2003?
I think it might have been 2003, it might have been 2002. It was
2002.
early 2000s.
Okay. Because Daggerfall was in 1999.
And then Arena, I think, was like 94 or something like that.
It's something crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, that game is still probably my favorite game of all time.
Really?
I think it's a masterpiece, yeah.
Morrowind, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really played it. Like I think I've tried it, but I just couldn't get past the graphics.
The graphics are pretty old. Yeah.
And that's the same thing with 2006's Oblivion. Like I loved that game when I was growing up, but now, you know, if you zoom out, it feels like you're running in place while the world moves around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the attacking kind of feels like you have a rubber balloon,
Yeah.
a sword balloon that you can just wave around.
Yeah, and the crazy thing with those Elder Scrolls games is they're so big, but they're always so buggy when they come out.
Yeah, it's the engine they use. I think they create their own engine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't use like Unreal or anything. I think the creation engine is Bethesda's own thing. Like they made it.
Oh, no way. Yeah. And so is that what they like run Fallout in? And
Yeah, all that, and that's why it's all a little glitchy. That's never really bothered me though. I mean, I
It's
always
never
liked it
bothered
when
me either.
mammoths would fall from the sky and kill me.
It was kind of
It was like an Easter egg almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it didn't happen often. Like it
Yeah.
didn't take me out of the game at all.
yeah.
So
And it's like, I think it's one of the things that the fan base finds almost like endearing about the series.
I know a lot of people are trying to make it less buggy for Elder Scrolls 6. Like that's a big suggestion.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, maybe it's not as endearing as I thought then.
I like it. Maybe it's just to us. Maybe.
Yeah, people, I know you've played a little bit of that new game, Cyberpunk 2020.
Yeah, and that's pretty buggy.
A lot of people complain about it being buggy. And in my experience, it's like, it's not that much worse than the average Bethesda game. And
I don't think they're as fun though. You know, I just Bethesda. I feel like some of my favorite memories were like, I would attack a wolf and I would just launch him for no reason. You know, like or like dragons would pop out of the ground. I
Yeah.
feel like they're not as fun. Maybe.
oh, like the Cyberpunk ones aren't as fun?
Yeah. Well, there were some fun ones I saw on Reddit. You know how you can customize your genitals in Cyberpunk
yeah.
2020.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the only reason I bought it. I guess somebody had a glitch where their penis was just always hanging out of their pants in the game. Like it was like they had to unzip and their penis was out.
Dang. Yeah, you'd probably get arrested if that was real.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a glitch.
Maybe. I mean, it'd be cool if that was an option.
Yeah.
If you could unzip your pants.
Yeah.
The way they suggested it, it seems like you could just unzip your pants.
Yeah, I think a lot of glitches happen when you kind of do things that game developers don't really expect or account for. Like, one of the glitches that comes to my mind, my friend found it in Gears of War 2. And basically, there's these like shield weapons you can get, and you can plant them in the ground, and you can hide behind them and use them as cover from the enemies.
Right.
And if you put one right next to this cliff, then you hop over it and you jump off the cliff, which normally you're not supposed to be able to do. And he takes you into this game developer area. And like there's just this platform, and there's like all these models of monsters that like weren't actually put into the game. And
were there any like cool weapons in there or anything like that?
No, nothing you could pick up or even interact with, really.
So they probably had no idea anybody, because I know some developers will like they'll put things to sneak in like little Easter eggs, like if you go through this wall, even like they'll know that you might try this out, little Easter eggs, and they'll give you like a reward for it.
Yeah, no, it was very clearly unintentional, and it was definitely like a test area, like a game test area to like size models of monsters and stuff like that.
Right.
And it was really cool.
Yeah, I know in games like the Elder Scrolls, like how we were talking about before, Skyrim, there's things you can do, like you can hold a plate and you can try to run through a door if you have the plate in front of your face. And so you'll be able to get into areas where they're like locked until like the future. So you can get cool weapons like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's not something where they're like, all right, just use this plate. I don't think it's something they did on purpose, but a lot of people will try to do stuff like that.
Or with like lock picking in that Elder Scrolls, if you like twist it to a certain position, in Oblivion, I think, then you can just unlock each one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, without an issue,
Look at that. New hacks every day.
Yeah. And I think that kind of attitude of doing things that the creator didn't expect.
The unexpected.
Yeah, I think it really appeals to us. And I think that's one of the reasons. I mean, we play Dungeons & Dragons a lot.
Yeah,
D&D.
that's how we met.
Yeah.
D&D.
Yeah. I think that is one of the reasons D&D appeals to a lot of people, is you can just do whatever you want. And, there's this dungeon master that runs the game, and they might have a vision in mind, and you can just throw it completely off course just with your creativity.
Yeah, and same thing with the dungeon master. They can do something completely opposite. Yeah, set a trap where you think it's going to go this way, and it's not at all. Yeah, that's my favorite part of D&D for sure, is just, you just being able to do anything.
Yeah.
Take any direction.
Yeah, and it's a really like a bonding time. Like we went into D&D. It's pretty funny how we met, actually. We've thought that we were going to be nerds.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, you tell this pretty
the good. D&D stereotype. I mean, maybe you don't, but with D&D, it's usually the people that kind of that try to play it are the super nerds.
Yeah.
And so I was like looking for a group in high school, and I feel like it's hard to find people that are into D&D or like those kind of niche subjects. It's blowing up a little bit more now because of shows like Stranger Things and even Game of Thrones, like we were talking about.
Yeah, and there's been like some celebrities that have come out and talked about how they play D&D, and that's helped it be more of like a pop culture thing.
For sure, yeah. It's like how superhero movies now. Like, like, oh, now they're cool because everybody likes them.
Yeah.
But yeah, back when D&D was not that popular and you had to go out and try to find anybody that was willing to play. So I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, I just got to find a group. Like, it's been so long since I played D&D. I've only played it with my family. And he's like, I actually know this group that plays. And I was like, oh, that's great. And I was like really excited about it. But maybe a couple days before, I was like, wait a second, like this might not be so great of an idea. Like these kids could be way nerdier than me. Like there's a chance I could be the coolest person in that group. And I don't want to be the coolest person in any group. I'm not that cool. So, but yeah, so I went there, and they all ended up being super cool. I was a big fan of the group. And I think we all like really worked well together.
Yeah.
And that's how we met.
That's how we became friends. 6 years ago, something like that.
76 years ago.
76. Back in 1776.
Oh my gosh. Were we in the Revolutionary War together?
We were not.
No?
No.
That's not how we met?
Mm-mm.
It's kind of how they did in Wolverine, right? Like they did the Revolutionary War. Didn't Wolverine do that? Isn't that canon?
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Have you not seen the X-Men series?
Like the original X-Men series, or like the branch offs where it's like Wolverine and
kind of
Magneto specialist guy.
Yeah, there's Wolverine Origins. You've seen that, like the 2008 one?
Yes, where it has the weird Deadpool at the end.
Yeah. So I think he was like Canadian, and like he was born before. Maybe it wasn't the Revolutionary War. Maybe it started with like the War of 1812. I can't remember. But yeah, he like
or the Civil War maybe.
Yeah, there's a big thing where he like fought through all these wars, and that's why he has all the PTSD he does.
Oh, okay.
Like that's why he wakes up.
Dang, I thought that was just supposed to be like the World Wars or something.
The World Wars? Oh, just like World War I and World War II.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think it was definitely at least the Civil War.
It probably was. It's been so long since I've seen those.
Yeah.
I can't really remember them super well.
I know it wasn't the Greek War. Like the Spartans and the
like the Peloponnesian War.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he fought in that. That'd be funny though. Maybe they have comics like that. I know they have a bunch of different timelines.
Yeah.
Him fighting in every war.
Speaking of the Revolutionary War, dude, have you ever seen Hamilton?
No, I haven't.
No?
Is that the slave owner musical thing?
Um,
That's the one everybody thinks is like racist, right?
I don't think Hamilton was ever a slave owner.
No, but it was something. Wasn't there a ton of backlash when that released on? It was Disney Plus, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why there would be.
Oh, I thought there was. Maybe there's not.
Maybe there. I could see like right-leaning people being mad. Like I've heard of some conservatives being mad because there's a lot of minorities in the cast. So like I don't know, like Thomas Jefferson is played by like a black man and stuff like that. And
Thomas Jefferson?
yeah.
Huh.
And so like a lot of conservatives were upset because they're like, it's not historically accurate or stuff like that.
That is kind of funny. I didn't know that Thomas Jefferson was played by a black character. Yeah.
Yeah, and like basically the whole cast is minorities. There's only a couple of white people in it. But then I think about it and I'm like, well, if you look at like The Last Samurai, it's like Tom Cruise playing a samurai, you know? And so like white people have always played different races.
That's true. I can't think of some other examples. I'm sure it happens. Was The Last Samurai based on like a true story?
I don't think so. No.
No.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't. I've actually never seen it. I've only seen the cover of it.
Right.
So I don't even know the premise of it.
Maybe he's not even a samurai.
Yeah, maybe he's not. I might be assuming.
Maybe he just has a fascination with samurais. It's just about him.
Yeah, maybe it's about his weeb moments.
Yeah. Tom Cruise's top 10 weeb moments.
Yeah. He's a secret anime lover.
I could see that. He's a
Scientologist.
So,
man, Scientology is nuts.
that's like the main thing. I feel like anytime people think about Tom Cruise, they think about Scientology.
Yeah. I wonder if like he actually believes in it or if he's just blackmailed into it.
Well, I know Scientologists try to get celebrities because they have the biggest influence.
Yeah.
And I think they do so much more for Tom Cruise than they do like the average person.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I think they've given him a ton of benefits just from being a Scientologist.
Yeah. Well, there's also been celebrities that have left and they've talked about like how much they're blackmailed and stuff like that to try and stay in.
Oh, really? Because I know there's that girl from Queens or King of Queens or like that little TV show.
Yeah.
I know she was in it and she got out of it. Like, what, do you know any?
I want to say Sarah Jessica Parker, but I don't think that's who it is. But there's someone specifically where I'm pretty sure they're even like in a documentary about it. And they talked about like how they were like threatened to stay in it and whatnot. This actress, she grew up in it. And so she had all these toxic ideas in her mind already, all growing up. And so when she was going to leave, they were like preying upon those deep planted seeds in her mind or whatever.
Right. And those are hard to get over for sure, especially when you start at such a young age, you know, like that's the normal, you know?
Yeah. And that's just like with anything, dude. Like it's so hard when all you've been presented is one worldview, when you start to explore other worldviews, it's like so hard to overcome that, especially if people are like guilt tripping you to not explore other worldviews.
For sure.
And stuff like that.
Sounds like we're on a little bit of another subject, but...
Wait, what do you mean?
I was just making a joke because that's how a lot of people feel about Mormonism.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I definitely like have Mormonism in the back of my mind when I'm talking about this.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's any religion though, is when you grow up in it. I mean, even if you grow up atheist, I mean, you're usually likely to stick with whatever you grew up with, opinions, anything like that.
Yeah, and you know, it's that's why I think it's so important to be supported in exploring like whatever worldview you're interested in.
For sure, yeah. Keep an open mind.
Yeah, and don't be like, I mean, we talk about this all the time, like how important it is to not just be like so firm in your beliefs that you're not willing to, like at least try to understand other people's.
Right, and so many people are, you know, like they're like, it's this way, and I've even seen studies on people where even if they hear a counter argument to their belief, it'll make them even more likely to believe in that because I guess they'll think of like little things in their head, or they'll just ignore it completely. But I
Yeah.
guess like if you're so firm in something, even when hearing information that could even refute it, like you just block it out basically.
Yeah. Or there's like so many, I guess the word I would use to talk about it is like propaganda-ish like thought processes to just like, or apologetics, or I don't know, to just instantly shut down like those counterpoints, you know?
Right.
Like let's say someone like brings up something about like socialism or something, but socialism can have its own flaws, you know?
The S word.
Yeah, honestly.
People treat it as the S word.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and but then, you know, something comes up like, oh, we should, I don't know, help people get better health care. And people are like, oh, you're a socialist. You're a Soviet spy. Like, they just jump to the craziest conclusions.
Yeah, and that's been ingrained for so long, ever since
Yeah.
the Cold War.
Yeah.
I mean, and people don't think of police, public education. And when I say public education, people think of free college. But that's just normal education, elementary school,
Yeah.
middle school, high school. That's public education. That's socialism. And people don't think of it that way because it's been ingrained.
Yeah.
But people were actually against the idea of public education back when that came out. I think it was
Yeah.
the early 1900s. They're like, no, like I'll just pay for it or whatever. I don't want my taxes going here.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think about that. People were against that, just like how they're against free college now.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was even like Thomas Jefferson that was one of the, or it might have been Ben Franklin. I don't know. They were one of the biggest like proponents of public education.
I know,
and
he
I don't.
started the library, Ben Franklin.
Oh, so
If
maybe
that's
it
what
was
you're
Ben
talking about,
Franklin.
borrowing books and things like that.
But he started some sort of public education. It's definitely not what we have today, you know. But his whole idea was, you know, if we're gonna overcome these like imperialist ideals of the homeland, the motherland, or whatever, we need to educate our people on essentially why monarchies don't work or shouldn't work or whatever, you know.
Interesting. Okay, I could definitely see Ben Franklin suggesting something like that.
Yeah, it was one of those founding fathers, but it was interesting to learn about that.
He also invented what was it? The fireman? I don't want to say invented fireman, but invented like the public service of firefighting.
Oh, Ben Franklin did?
Yeah.
Dang, it was so that like when England was in charge, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, fire's gone, peace out.
Yeah, or I guess maybe they'd come and you'd have to still pay for it, things like that.
Oh, like it wasn't a public thing.
But I don't even know. Like I don't think they had like a branch for firefighters. I think it was like, well, you got to worry about it, or your community has to worry about it.
Well, what I learned about actually in an economics course is that firefighting. I don't know if this is in every state or every city, but at least in some states and cities, you have to like pay like a yearly due for the fire department.
In taxes? Or
I don't know if it's included in taxes, but you can opt in or out.
Interesting.
And if you don't opt in, then they'll like come to your house and make sure that the fire doesn't spread to like other homes, but they won't put your fire out.
No way.
Apparently, yeah.
No way.
That's what I was taught in economics, man.
There's no way.
Because
it's a contained fire. Like they're just gonna like what if people are in there?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure they'll save people, but like it has to do with what's it called? Because I guess firefighting isn't considered like a public good. It's considered, I can't remember what it's called, but there's like different types of goods.
I think our taxes still go to firefighters though, like how it goes to police officers.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like it might be dependent on the state and stuff. I'm not sure what it is in Utah, but that's according to my professor. I haven't personally researched it, so I can't personally vouch for it. But
right.
Yeah, he used it as an example of whatever the type of good was. I can't remember what it is.
I feel like you could almost sue like the fire department, like insurance companies, where they originally wouldn't have to pay for an entire house to be rebuilt versus like firefighters putting that out though.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, so if they're just going to let the entire house burn down, then that's like all that will go to house insurance when, like, let's say only a room will get burned down and none of the structure will. Like, I can't imagine, like, the insurance people wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, and it just like, I mean, we live in a society where everything is run by money, right? And so the idea is like, well, if you aren't going to pay the money, then you don't deserve like the benefits of it.
We should get a Jamie, like from Joe Rogan, like one of those people that like research everything we have to say. I still don't believe it. There's no way that's a thing.
It might not be.
Okay, we're gonna come right back. Holy shit, it's real.
Yeah, so in 2010, this is in Tennessee, firefighters in rural Tennessee let a home burn to the ground last week because the homeowner hadn't paid a $75 fee. He talks about how the fire department comes out, but they don't put his fire out. They just watch it burn and make sure that it doesn't spread to other houses.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. I can't believe it's not a public service everywhere.
Yeah. And like, I was mind blown when I first learned this. And apparently, they even, like, let pets die in the house.
But did they let people die?
I don't think so. I think all the people got out. It doesn't say people died.
They're like, sucks to suck. Should have paid the fee. They use it as, like, an advertisement.
Yeah.
This person died.
A
Don't
scare
end up like
tactic.
this person.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, dude. That's crazy. Because I know even hospitals will do, like, lifelines. Like, they'll send out helicopters over to you.
Yeah, and they'll just charge you a shit ton.
Right, because this is, like, in rural areas, you're saying.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They'll charge you a ton, but they'll still come out there, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it looks like from what we looked up that there is public fire departments, and those are funded through taxes. But then there's private ones.
Right. That also means that they're subject to areas, too.
What do you mean?
Like, well, because I imagine the only reason that there's private ones means the public ones, like, you cannot put out a house fire that's a mile past here.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Which is
police
crazy.
departments do that too, you know?
Yeah, but even police can go outside of their zone, especially like the Capitol. Like, I'm assuming that they sent police officers from other areas.
I thought that they had to be, like, commissioned to, like I've always been told, and this might not be true.
Did your professor tell you this? Because I'll believe everything he says now.
No, yeah, it was the same professor, actually.
Was it really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
But I've always been told, like if I was, like, speeding and I saw a cop and I would start to slow down, and then people would be like, oh, no, that's, like, a Salt Lake City cop and you're in this other city limits, so you're out of their jurisdiction.
No, I think they could pull you over anywhere.
Can they really?
I remember talking to a cop and he mentioned that. So.
Okay, well, that's,
Well,
my
'cause
life's
you
a
can
lie.
pull over cars from other states when you're in another state. Oh,
yeah.
but still,
Yeah.
even if they're out of their jurisdiction.
And so I thought there were, like, state troopers where they could do it, like, anywhere within a state, but then there were, like, city police and they can't do it outside of their city limits.
Yeah, I don't.
But that might not be true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I should believe everything you're saying now. That fire thing is just so crazy to me, man.
Yeah, it's like...
Because that's like some third world country stuff.
Is that not sadistic, dude?
Yeah.
It's like $75 and they let your house burn in the ground.
Yeah. I mean, I would be definitely paying that fee.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, maybe I guess it might be a thing with apartments too. Like, you pay a small fee, maybe a smaller fee.
Yeah. I wonder if in some places maybe like I could see super rich neighborhoods and they have, like, their own fire department or something like that. Or like a series of neighborhoods, and maybe, like, an HOA fee goes towards that or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know.
They pay for security, so why not?
Yeah.
Maybe fire stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, when I was looking this up, apparently to use a fire truck for a fire, it costs apparently around $12,000.
Really?
And so they're like, oh, that funding has to come from somewhere.
Well, where do you think most of the cost goes to?
Like, why it's so expensive?
Okay, so, like, are you talking about the average house, like, based on, like, let's say, like, they put out house fires, 15 times a month or whatever.
Yeah.
In these rural areas.
Yeah.
And so are you talking about, like, when you break that down and then you divide that by, like, the pay of the drivers? Or is it just, like, for them to come out and put out that fire, that's $12,000?
Yeah.
Which one?
The second. So, like, apparently every time you use a fire truck to put out a fire, it's an average of, like, $12,000.
That's crazy. Like, is it from the water? Like, the water's got to be public. Maybe it's the transport of the water, right? Because maybe where there's no firemen, there's no fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to supply your own water?
Yeah. And I would imagine a lot of it is taken into account of, like, paying the wages of the workers, of, like, the actual firefighters would account for a large amount of that money. Because a lot of times, like, when you're fighting fires, a lot of times they get overtime as well. And I don't know, honestly.
So what if a wildfire starts in, like, a rural area? Do you know, like, if they'd send their own firefighters out there?
Well, there's forest firefighters that do a lot of wildland stuff. Like, my dad actually used to be a wildland fire.
Oh, yeah. Does he do that part-time? Or is it like a reserve sort of situation, like the military?
I think he did it full-time.
Really?
He did it, like, in college, I believe.
I hear that's better pay than, like, a normal firefighter.
Yeah, he would make a lot of money. I was thinking of actually doing it this next summer, and you
Probably less
can
work,
make
too.
like 40 to 60 grand in a summer.
That's crazy.
I mean, you have to work like crazy, but
Most of the
like
time, you're
it's
probably
just not
hanging
year
out,
round.
right?
What?
Most of the time, you're probably just hanging out, right? It's not like there's a forest fire all the time.
I mean, recently on the West Coast there has been, like in the summers. It's been pretty crazy, but yeah, he talked about how they would have like some sort of watchtower in the middle of nowhere, like on top of a mountain, and they would just like watch for smoke on like the horizons and stuff.
That's crazy. I went out to Colorado in September when they had the wildfires, and even when I was out there, I wasn't even really close to where the fires were, but ash was raining from the sky, like miles and miles away from it, and that's crazy. It felt like snow.
Dude, so you know how I was in Arizona?
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, this last summer I worked in Arizona. I worked at a behavioral health program that was wilderness based. So basically these kids that have some sort of issues, whether it's mental health, behavioral health, issues with family, whatever, they get sent into the wilderness and they backpack for like 2 months.
And there's no physical disabilities, right? I guess you can't really have that if you're backpacking.
Yeah, no, it's pretty like they're pretty strict with the health of the people they send out. So there's even like if people are on certain medications, they won't send them out because they might get dehydrated faster.
Do you have some examples of the kind of behavioral health you guys would have to work with?
So behavioral health, a lot of it might be like
Schizophrenia, autism. What?
There was some of that. I mean, not autism.
Really, not autism.
Nope. A lot of it was like the behavioral health is more, let's say they don't care about their grades in school and they're just like flunking everything. Their parents might send them to this for 2 months to hopefully reset their like priorities in life. Or I don't know.
What's that called? Like the set them straight, or like they take those kids to like a prison. And
scare them straight. Scared straight. Yeah.
Is that kind of what you guys do?
No, ours is like very like love based. Some of the kids that go there, they're like, oh, it's hippie work, right? Like a lot of our thing is like talking through your emotions, processing your emotions, stuff like that.
All right. And that scares them in a way, just with different kind of scare tactics, confrontation, facing your own problems.
I mean, yeah, honestly, in a way. And it really, like seeing the kids at the beginning and at the end, when they're just in the wilderness, no technology, backpacking for like 2 months straight, the growth you see in these kids is crazy, dude.
So what are the age ranges of these kids?
So there is a 12 to 18 or 12 to 17 group. And then there's like adult group, and you can just be any age above 18 in that group.
And you did the adolescent group?
I did both.
Oh, you did both?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, switch back and forth.
Okay. So were they in different areas, like the adults and the kids, or was it all together?
Yeah, no, definitely not all together. Okay. Even if they like interacted, we'd have to fill out paperwork. It would we'd have to like document that interaction because the kids weren't supposed to have interaction with anyone but the employees.
Really?
Yeah.
So the adults, I would assume that's like consensual. Is it more of a rehab for them?
Yeah, they do have to sign like if they want to leave, we won't guide them out. We won't transport them out. They have to basically find their own way back to civilization.
How far out in the wilderness are you?
It can be anywhere from like a couple miles to like 40 miles.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Where it's like you can leave, but you'll probably get eaten by tigers.
Yeah.
Not tigers. Maybe if it was in India. I don't know where tigers normally are.
but we're supposed to still like be with them to make sure they're safe.
Right.
But we can't guide them if they're wanting to leave.
Do you guys have like people that were like designated with guns, like in case wildlife?
No.
Really?
We had a bear spray.
Bear spray.
But that was all.
I hear that's awful. Like, I had a friend that was sprayed in the face with bear spray.
My gosh!
Just because he wanted to see what it was like.
Isn't it like super pepper spray?
Yeah, it's like ultimate pepper spray. It's I don't even know what to compare it to, but it maybe like caffeine versus cocaine. Like seriously, it's like that. He was like, I would rather you empty 3 cans of pepper spray into my face.
Has he experienced that before though? Pepper spray?
Well, he's experienced pepper spray. Not 3 cans.
Oh yeah.
He was like, I would rather you empty 3 cans of pepper spray into my face while my eyes are open than spray me like with my eyes closed with bear spray.
Oh my gosh.
And I guess the wasp poison with spray, like that's supposed to be really bad for your eyes and stuff like that.
Oh my! And he tested that?
He didn't test the wasp spray, just the bear spray.
Oh, okay.
But I know like that happens to people. Like I guess when you get burglars in, like sometimes people might try to go out in their garage and find whatever they can.
Yeah.
And then use wasp spray. I don't know what the legality of that is. It's probably... I mean, I guess you could use a baseball bat.
If someone's breaking into your home,
right?
Like, I'd say use whatever you have to defend yourself.
I know we talked about the frozen egg theory, Arza, but
throw frozen eggs at them.
No, we could do the bear spray theory.
Oh, and test it on the podcast.
Yeah, so you get the bear spray. No, Arza gets all the bad stuff.
But what I always want to say about that camp in Arizona is there were tons of wildfires down there. And there was one time where we were backpacking, and on the ridge behind us, you could see a wildfire starting to form. And so we were like hurrying to try and backpack to keep away from it and make sure we like got an adequate distance away. And there'd be like some ash coming down and stuff like that.
How quickly does that kind of stuff pick up? I can't imagine it's like avalanche style, right?
Yeah, so it's actually way faster nowadays than it was like 100 years ago.
Why do you say that?
So actually, forest firefighting actually has had a bad effect on wildfires because we put out, it used to be natural, it used to be like healthy for the wildlife for there to be a wildfire.
Really?
It would be slow burning, and it would get rid of all this dead debris, and it would like recycles the carbon and stuff like that.
Right.
And the forest would grow back healthy. But now we put it out prematurely, and so all this forest debris builds up and makes it way more flammable or whatever. And
I can't imagine, do they just use water to put it out, or do they use like the fire extinguisher kind of
I think
chemicals?
They just use water.
Just water?
Yeah.
Okay. You think there's like a chance they could drown the plants, like when they're trying to save them?
I don't know. Maybe.
Overwatering.
Especially down there where it doesn't. The plants don't use a ton of water.
Yeah. You could drown a cactus. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that, but I know there's these big trees called ponderosa pines, and before it'd be healthy for 10 of them to be in a square mile, and now there's like one every 10 feet. And so there's just such a large amount of vegetation that wildfires spread really rapidly now.
Interesting.
Where they used to be really slow moving.
So, do you think there's been talks of like stopping all like wildfire fires?
I don't know, because now we're kind of in this loop where there's so much that wildfires get so big that if you let them run wild, then it'll like burn everything down.
Interesting.
And they don't really burn themselves out like they used to. And so I know there's been talk of like going through and like just cutting down tons of trees and like cleaning up the forest floors, but that's also just a ton of manpower that would be required.
Could always turn it into paper, less recycling,
Yeah.
I guess it's still kind of recycling.
Yeah.
Natural recycling.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like
never knew that about the forest fires though.
Yeah. It's almost like counterintuitive,
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things humans do that are pretty counterintuitive.
Yeah. Just like we think we know what's best, but nature knows what's best.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's crazy, man. Also,
what kind of issues did the adults have?
There'd be like marriage issues.
Couples would go together?
Oh.
No.
Like one of them would go, like maybe they'd be thinking about a divorce. Like maybe one spouse was wanting a divorce and the other one was wanting to work. And the one that was wanting a divorce like couldn't get a clear head. And so they'd go into the wilderness for like 2 months to try and like sort out their thoughts and feelings and stuff like that.
Do you get couples and friends at camps like that?
Not that I saw. I'm sure it's happened.
Do you try to go, like, did they suggest you go alone?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so there's times where like maybe siblings have been there and they try and keep them in separate groups, just to allow people to have their own individual experience.
So how many people were in a group generally?
1 to 9.
1 to 9.
Yeah, and I think before they could have them larger, but with COVID, they try and keep them below 10.
Right. Yeah, because I even know that like there's rehab centers and places like that won't allow any new people in.
Yeah. So they've been really selective. Everyone has to be tested before they come and right when they get there.
Makes sense. Like 2 weeks before they have to quarantine.
I don't think they quarantine, no. But they're just within 2 weeks before coming, they have to be tested before we'll even test them at the location, and then when they get to the office, they'll be tested again, and then they won't be put into another group until that test comes back negative. And then if they test positive, then they'll be kept on their own for 2 weeks.
Okay. So what's the end goal of this, of the situation? Like, is it kind of supposed to be like therapy?
You know, I think the end goal for me would be to try and promote like self-awareness. Like, I think if people develop self-awareness, then they're much more able to work through their issues on their own and be a lot more self-sufficient.
Right.
But sometimes it was a lot of like almost trying to cater to parents or family members, like the people that were funding us, you know, trying to get the results of like what the parents wanted.
Scare them straight.
Yeah. But what I liked about it is we'd also work with parents.
Right.
A lot of places, they only work with, you know, the kid that's there in the program. But with us, we won't accept a kid unless if the parents are also willing to go through the counseling as well, through the therapy as well.
So how does that work? Like with people that aren't in the camp that are going to therapy?
Yeah, so they'll do like a weekly Skype.
Interesting.
To talk with these parents. And a lot of the issues that these kids have are because of the parents, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like we said, no parent's perfect, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And obviously some of these kids, they might not interpret what their parents are doing in a positive way, whereas the parents might be doing things that we would consider correct, or most people would consider correct, and then the kids just don't understand, and it's skewed in their mind.
All right. I've always been a recommender of therapy and family therapy, anything like that. I mean, I think the average person, or anybody, would do great with therapy.
Yeah. I mean, like it doesn't really do any harm, right?
No. But I think, yeah, like you said, with the self-awareness and understanding yourself, I think it's great to go and find somebody and talk to them, and there's no judgment. There's no like, oh, maybe I shouldn't tell you this, or maybe I shouldn't tell you I'm feeling like this. You know? I mean, there's nothing. It's only confidential. They can get in a ton of trouble if it's not.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a great outlet for people to have.
Definitely. And just learning like healthy thought patterns. And like, I mean, I've been to therapy before, and like learning how to identify toxic thought patterns in myself is so important. And I think everyone could benefit from it, like you were saying.
For sure. Yeah. Nobody's perfect, just like no parents are perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that there's not more of an emphasis on it in our society.
Yeah. You'll probably be a better parent just because of the therapy.
I mean, I hope so. Maybe not, but
we'll
maybe
Arza
so.
doesn't have a kid yet.
Yeah. That we know of. No, I'm kidding.
That's true.
I'm kidding.
I mean, who knows? Each one of us could have a kid. We don't know it. Government clones. Printing babies.
Oh, it's like that, what's that one movie, that Jordan Peele movie? Us?
Us, yeah. Were those clones? I can't remember.
I was like some government experiment to try and control people, and it failed, and so they left them underground. Yeah.
That was creepy.
It was creepy.
That's one of those movies where, like, the movie itself wasn't creepy. Like, there wasn't jump scares in it, but it was like, this is gross kind of creepy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was like psychologically. What is that? Is that considered psychological horror?
Maybe.
Film?
Like, the more you think about it, the worse it gets. Like,
yeah.
It's one of those movies where you're, like, staring up at your ceiling, like, wondering.
Yeah. And now I'm always afraid to look at driveways at night because the family's standing in that driveway. But
you're wearing red right now. You're kind of triggering me.
This is orange. Oh, no, it's salmon. It's a salmon. But conspiracy theories like that, I mean, right now, like QAnon is big, and it reminds me of QAnon. Do you know about QAnon?
QAnon, right? No, I don't.
So this goes for those that are listening that also don't know. Basically, QAnon is this conspiracy theory thing where some government insider, Trump administration insider, is secretly releasing information to like let us know that all this dumb shit that Donald Trump does is actually part of a master plan to bring down essentially the Illuminati. The deep state is what they call it.
Oh, so it's like the same people that think like Trump is sent from God, basically.
Definitely.
Is it those kinds of people? Is that what QAnon is? Because I know there's like an actual cult that believes Trump is like a superhero sent down to this universe.
I don't know if QAnon believes that he's like literally like a superhuman, but they believe that he's like this genius, that all of his moves are very intentional to bring down the deep state and expose the corruption within the government. Which, if true, that's awesome, but I'm not betting on it.
Anti-Illuminati.
Yeah, and recently I saw this thread on Reddit. Mike is making a Illuminati triangle.
No, I'm
not. But there's this thread on a subreddit. It's called Out of the Loop. Basically, people ask questions on stuff that they have no idea what's going on.
I love that subreddit. I love how you can just click on it because there's stuff I'm so out of the loop on. I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, so. And you just go on there and do a quick search of the keywords. Yeah. And you get an explanation of what's going on.
All right, it's great.
But there's someone on there that was like, I've been getting texts from conservative friends that are saying be prepared, something big is coming and that type of thing. And he's like, what are they meaning by this? And apparently it's a QAnon thing. And since last episode, we talked about Parler getting banned and people being removed from social media and whatnot. And basically, now all these conspiracy theories, these QAnon theories are being shared through text message now.
Interesting.
And there's this thing being texted around where apparently on Inauguration Day, Trump is supposed to call world martial law, and he is looking to shut down the internet and the radio and all forms of communication, and then live broadcast tribunals and mass executions of people that stole the election.
So Biden and Kamala Harris?
Yeah, and probably Pelosi and maybe Pence now. I don't know.
For anybody that's listening, if you weren't on the government watch list, you are now.
It's I hear that type of stuff and I'm like, maybe that's going to happen. I don't know. I can't 100% say that's not going to happen.
So QAnon, that's a social group, how Anonymous is, or how is QAnon? What is QAnon?
Do you mean Anonymous like the hacker?
Oh, Anonymous is supposed to be a group of people.
Yeah. A group of hackers, right?
4chan.
So are you asking if those are the same people, QAnon and...
So just give me a brief rundown of what QAnon is.
So, like I said earlier, it's the guy named Q is this insider. And then Q plus is supposed to be Donald Trump. And so Q is this insider that's really close to Donald Trump and is trying to help the people understand his motives without directly ousting him.
Okay, so where does he post? Parler?
So before, a lot of it would go through Parler. I know that there was an app specifically for following QAnon. I was in an Airbnb one time with a guy that was huge into QAnon, and he spent hours explaining it all to me.
Should have him on.
He lives in Arizona. I don't have his number either. But
we'll rent his house real quick.
I remember his first name. Maybe we can find him somehow. It's William. There's not very many Williams.
William Smith.
But yeah, he was saying stuff like, when the election happens, Robert Kennedy would come back. He never actually died. And he would come back and talk about all this deep state stuff and how they tried to kill him. And I don't know, there's all this crazy stuff that honestly to me seems very delusional.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. So QAnon's one guy who's anonymous.
He's supposed to be, but he's anonymous. So really it could be tons of people posting their own conspiracy theories.
Right. Okay, and it's a group that follows him.
Yeah, and according to this guy, Anon is supposed to be the group.
Okay.
And they're the followers.
Do you know what Q stands for, or is it just a letter?
I have no idea.
It should be Emanon.
Yeah, people would like him more.
People would like the letter M, yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Maybe the pro-Biden people follow Emanon.
Maybe Q is for question?
Questions anonymous.
Yeah.
Would it be answers anonymous then? Right? Anon?
Or maybe he's answering questions. I don't know. That's a dumb idea. I take it back. But yeah, this the more I learn about it, I don't know. I feel like the more you learn about a lot of things, the more it's supposed to be oh, that kind of makes sense. But the more I learn about it, the more I'm this is not feasible.
So, what kind of information you got out where you thought it was almost believable?
With QAnon?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing.
I thought you were just saying that.
No, I was saying with a lot of conspiracy theory things.
Oh, conspiracies in general. I thought you were talking about QAnon.
Sorry, I didn't clarify that very well.
It started off I don't know, maybe. And then it like started getting way more intense
No.
like, as it kept going on.
I'm just saying, like, initially, I didn't really believe it, but the more I look into it, the more I'm like, this seems less and less believable.
So how long has QAnon been a thing? Like, was it a thing back in the 2016 election?
Yeah, actually.
Really?
Like, a lot of people, maybe it wasn't right in 2016, but my old boss, no, it would have had to be in 2016 because I worked at, I used to work on a softball field, and my boss at the time was into QAnon. And he would talk about like, oh yeah, it's a Trump insider, and he lets you know all this stuff about how he's draining the swamp and stuff like that. And I was like shocked. Well, I wasn't shocked, but I just didn't believe it, you know? And I was like, I thought that it was a small thing, and I was like, oh, it's just like some 4chan thing. But now it's like big, and a lot of people on the right believe it. Like, I've had friends that talk about like, oh, this guy's just part of the deep state. And I can't believe how widespread it's gotten.
So it looks like QAnon started October 2017.
Oh, okay.
So that is only like 10 months after the inauguration. But yeah, it looks like it was started on 4chan, like most other conspiracy theories.
Yeah. And it's just like crazy to me that people's one source of truth is an anonymous guy on 4chan.
QAnon.
Which, like I said, maybe it's true. And if like all this stuff comes to pass, then like, you know, I'll swallow my pride and I'll admit that I was wrong.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have to swallow your pride. Isn't inauguration day next week? Next Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
That'll be when the podcast are released. So,
Yeah.
let us know.
Let us know if I need to make an apology for calling these people delusional.
All right. I'm going to be pretty scared if we release that on Wednesday and all that stuff comes out. So
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say, but
still can't get over the name Eminon. Like, I feel like that almost sounds like a real name.
yeah, it sounds like Eminem.
Yeah, but it's cooler.
Maybe Eminem is QAnon.
That would be intense. I thought it was Will Smith. Didn't we already say that?
Oh, Will Smith is QAnon?
Yeah, they're both rappers.
That's true. Well, Will Smith not so much anymore.
No.
But
He's a YouTuber now.
is he really?
No, that was a big...
Oh, he was on YouTube Rewind.
joke.
Yeah. You like almost blew my mind because you know like Jack Black is doing YouTube.
I think he's on YouTube, Will Smith.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Like he's made some videos himself?
Yeah, but everybody was making fun of the fact. It's like, yeah, Will Smith, my favorite YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's posted some YouTube videos.
Have you seen Kevin James's YouTube videos?
Who's Kevin James? Kevin James is the...
Like King of Queens?
Oh, yeah, okay. We were just talking about that, too. I was just making sure that's who it was, yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
he does YouTube videos called The Sound Guy, and he pretends to be like the boom mic guy in movie scenes.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
And it's really funny. If people haven't seen that, you should check it out. It's like 2-minute long videos.
Unless the whole inauguration thing is happening right now and the martial law gets declared and
Yeah.
the internet gets shut down.
Yeah, if the
Then you
internet is
probably-
shut down, then I guess you'll never see it or hear this.
Yeah, so we'll upload it Tuesday night so you can still give us a view.
I mean, we could if you want, but probably not unless we decide to do that.
We'll see. We'll see how long editing takes.
Yeah, it'll be a surprise for our listeners.
Yeah, or 23. Oh yeah, we're at 40. We're at 63 listens total with the introduction and the
Yeah.
thing. So that's a big jump from 9. If we could get that every time, where it jumps up like 4 times what it used to be, that would be great.
Yeah,
audience.
and just
So,
keep multiplying until eventually everyone on the planet is listening to it.
that'd be great. Even more, because I want it to still jump up.
Yeah,
I
so-
want our clones from the FBI to come out and listen to it. The us people in the basements. Anybody.
Yeah, like you know how there's that satellite that we sent out that is just going on for like ever.
Yeah,
and
like
it's
78, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know the exact year, but some time back in the
I know it was like at least 30 years ago, but I guess 30 years ago was only 1991. That's
yeah,
crazy.
but it's like saying like hello from all these different languages or something like that, hoping that someone will understand it or
it's got some information on it too, doesn't it?
yeah,
What I'm
like
thinking
I
of?
think like some way to find Earth or something like that.
Yeah.
But we could send our own satellite out with our podcast on it to try and get people to listen.
Yeah.
Some extraterrestrials.
That'd be great. Yeah, I know. I think they sent out like a bunch of math too when they were sending that thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or at least that, or it was another one they sent out, because I'm sure they sent out multiple since they sent out that first one. But they know, like, oh, like, what if they can't hear? What if they can't see? What if they can't touch?
dang.
What if the very thing they are will destroy it? the second they see it.
Oh, dang.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, because we know nothing about life on other planets. We know nothing about anything. But I guess the only thing that humans thought of that was consistent was math and physics, right? Like they're like 2 + 2 will always be 4. And so I guess they used this kind of communication, like used in math terms, or not math terms, like E = MC squared. But they were, but they were using math as a way of like showing like there's intelligent life or something.
Okay, that's something else that is interesting because, so I have some friends that have taken some really theoretical math courses in college, and I won't even pretend to understand the stuff that they have told me about.
Like physics, or like what kind of?
Just high up math courses where it's like, apparently there's things called like cookbook math, and that's like what you learn in high school, where it's like you'll get one set answer, and then like once you get farther into math, it's all just theoretical.
Right.
And you can't really like solve for one answer or stuff like that.
The theoretical physics type of stuff. Yeah.
But apparently there's a big debate in the mathematics field on whether math inherently works or if it works because we make it work.
So, do you know how the debate works? Like what the arguments are on both sides?
I don't understand enough of it to really know how it works, but I guess the idea is yeah, I don't know.
I know that's where dark matter came from. Do you know dark matter? Do you know
not much about it.
Okay, so dark matter is supposed to be... so how they got the idea of dark matter is they'd see these stars, and they'd see them have like a ton of energy and other planets that are like really forcing it to come in. And
like a lot of gravitational pull?
A lot of gravitational pull. And the way they're looking at it, they're like, well, with the size of it and with what we can see... it doesn't look like it should have anywhere near this much gravitational pull. So it has way more than it should. And these aren't like black holes, or some of them could be, but it's not just like the super, super huge stuff. It's even the little stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where they came up with the theory of dark matter. It's stuff you can't even see, touch, or feel, but it's still there.
Interesting. So would it be like something that's like in a different dimension?
There's a lot of theories on that.
Okay.
But maybe that could be where the mathematics comes from, just because there's questions they can't even answer because they can't see anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to have like a mathematician on in the future if we ever have access to one.
Physics, human.
Yeah,
A guy that knows physics.
Someone that, I mean, I took a physics course. We could just have me on.
Oh yeah, Arza, would you like to be on our podcast?
Yeah, I'll do it.
That'd be great.
But yeah, dude, it's crazy how little we actually know, and talking to people that know way more stuff than I do, as they get to know more, they just know that there's less we know. I said the word know a lot, but did you follow that, what I said?
I have a quote where it says, where I say the more you think, the less you know. And people are always like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like I'll whisper that to myself sometimes, like when it comes up naturally. But it's true though. Like, and it sounds like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But the more you think about stuff from an outside perspective, the less you know about the world around you.
100%, dude.
Because if you don't think at all, you know everything.
Yeah.
And it's just exponential for
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
I have a friend where he used to always tell me, just kind of like, he would say it to just kind of annoy me, but he says like we'd be having a conversation and I would ask him like, wait, what do you mean? And he'd be like, dude, you just don't even know what you don't even know. And he would just say that all the time. And that's also something that really resonates with me, is like as I learn new stuff, I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's crazy.
There's so much stuff that we don't know that we can't even process what we don't know.
Yeah. So in short, Arza and I are idiots.
Yeah. And you might be too.
Maybe. Unless you're a theoretical physicist.
Yeah, those are the only smart ones.
Yep, that's it.
So shout out to you. You the real MVP, as Kevin Durant says.
QVP.
QVP. So we kind of get in these awkward phases sometimes where we don't know what to talk about. So this goes back to what we said in our introduction. If you ever have something you want us to talk about, send it our way. And we'll try and research a little bit on it and put it in our podcast. And if you're interested enough, you can come on and talk about it with us.
Yeah.
So go ahead and reach out however you feel is appropriate.
Are we ending this?